This is for We the People News. Learning video. This is for people in Texas. This gentleman is actually going to be running for governor of Texas. And if I was a voting guy, I probably would pick him. Look on the flag on the left-hand side there. Gold fringe. Military. Alright, so this is not a commercial or commerce video. This is just a learning channel. And see what you guys may or may not decide with the gentleman running for the state of Texas. And I might have these popped up every so often. Still haven't figured out how to shut that off, but I haven't really had a whole lot of time to do so. Alright, but it's more of listening to what he has to say. This is a pretty long video too, y'all, 30 minutes.
Our next speaker, he's a fifth generation Texan. It's a big deal in these parts, right? He homeschooled all 5 of his children. All 5 homeschooled. I can't even imagine. He was a state senator here in Texas. And he is pro-life, pro-traditional family, and traditional values. This gentleman is Don Huffines.
Good morning, Patriots. It's a great day for liberty. It is. Well, something happened in April of this year that I think you need to hear about. There was a 27-year-old woman who went to church here in Dallas with her 10-month-old baby in her arms. And she went to Catholic Mass, and everybody was seated in the gymnasium, very far apart. She sat in the far right-hand corner of the gymnasium, no one within 10 feet of her and her husband, with her baby in her arms, and she took her mask off because she was feeling morning sickness. The priest told her, please put that back on. She said, no, I don't feel good, I'm not putting that back on. She went up and got communion, came back and was kneeling and praying at her seat, and she looked up and somebody grabbed her shoulder, and it was 3 Dallas policemen in the middle of Mass. The priest had called the police to come in and arrest a parishioner that had been there for years with the host in her mouth. They basically told her to leave the church and she's going to jail. They were ready to stun gun her right then.
I'm going to pause it here right quick. Alright, I made a video about the same guy answering questions with KrisAnne Hall, which is a Constitutionalist lady, and he was not scared about it. And anybody willing to answer questions with KrisAnne Hall, it's got spunk.
Her baby in her arms. That was my daughter. People ask me, why are you running? I'm running to be your next governor. That's part of the reason. We have lost more liberty in the last 18 months than I could have imagined us losing in 100+ years. I know we're all going down the road to socialism. Socialism always leads to communism. It always leads to tyranny. Always. Right. Hitler was a member of the Socialist Party. Stalin was a member of the Socialist Party. We're on our way to being slaughtered down the pits of hell. The Let's purge them out. Come on. Just like we're doing. We got to purge them out because this is a clear case of good versus evil. Well, I was looking at the TV and screaming at it a lot in 2013. And I decided I need to do something about it. Because in my heart and in my mind is burning a flame. It's a flame of liberty. It'll never go out. Sometimes it burns so bright I can't stand it. It eats me up. But at 13, I had to do something about it. And I'm certainly pro-life from conception to natural death, no exceptions. And I will never quit working for the abolition of abortion.
That's right.
Also, I love my guns. I got a lot of them. I do, and I like hunting. But there was a trophy on the wall that I didn't have, and I really wanted, because I was tired. That was a trophy rhino. And he was sitting in the Senate seat state Senate seat that I wanted. Senate District 16 right here in Dallas County. By the way, welcome to Dallas County. This is my hometown. So I beat him in the primary heads up. I took him out. He was one of the most liberal rhinos in Austin, unarguably. Thank you. So I was in the Texas Senate from 14 to 18. I got knocked out in 18 by the Democrats when they finished taking over Dallas County. We have 3 Republicans out of probably 85 partisan positions in Dallas County left. Trump lost our county 3-1. Well, that's what the machine showed anyway. But there's a couple things I want to tell you about that you're never going to hear from any legislator in Texas. You're not going to hear these stories, but I'm going to tell you about them because you need to know. You need to know that the swamp in Austin, Texas is every bit as deep as the one in Washington. It might not be as wide, but it's every bit as deep. It's full of liars. Come on. Full of liars. Come on, brother. Well, let me just say this. I'm the only guy, according to the Secretary of the Senate in Texas history, the only elected office holder that never took a penny from the government. No pay, no pension, no health care, no per diem, no travel vouchers, no reimbursements for nothing. I didn't even use their office furniture. And I did that for a reason, because I will never work for the government. I work for the people that hired me, the voters. As you probably know, I'm planning on being your next governor of Texas. And I'm going to win. I'm not running for governor to send a message, to make a statement. I'm running to save Texas, and I'm going to do the same thing as your governor. I will never take a penny from the government for any reason. But let me finish up and tell you what I was going to say on this stories. I uncovered one of the largest political corruption scandals in the history of the state of Texas right here in Dallas County. And elected office holders were stealing tens of millions of dollars of our money. I got the Texas Rangers involved, then we got the FBI involved, and they took the file from the Dallas DA. Bottom line, we got 6 people put in prison, including the city mayor pro tem and the city council of Dallas. And they weren't just stealing a little bit of money, they were stealing tens of millions of dollars of taxpayers' money. And they had done it for years and years. There's 3,000 employees, $110 million annual budget. They don't exist anymore because I got a bill done in Austin to get rid of them. It was really difficult to get that bill done, no matter how crooks they were. Now let me tell you why it was difficult. Right after inauguration in 2015, Lieutenant Governor comes into the Senate and calls a meeting of the caucus as a whole. You might not know, there's 31 state senators when I was always going to be 31. We represent more than a congressional district in Texas. 20 Republicans, 11 Democrats. And we're all meeting in this room. And he comes and he said, well, I want to talk to all the senators. And he comes prancing in the room. And he says, welcome, senators. Welcome to the most exclusive club Members Club. There's less than 150 of y'all alive in the state of Texas, existing former state senators. Your loyalty is always with your fellow senators. You will never do anything to hold them accountable. You will always, take care of the Texas Senate. This is the most special place in the world, and your fellow co-workers are everything to you, and that's what matters. And he goes off on that. He keeps on going off on that. And I'm sitting there thinking, I bet I'm the only person in here that was wondering why they call legislators members. They call them that in Washington. They call them that in Austin. Members. Well, they don't worry that because they're members of a club, of this exclusive club. And that's where their loyalty lies, is with their fellow club members. They don't care about you. What they care about is leadership, their club members. And the very next week, I'm in my first Republican Senate caucus meeting. There's only 20 of us. We represent 900,000 Texans. And I go in there. We're sitting around a table. We go to a restaurant every Monday night. And it's my time to stand up. And I say something. I'm nervous, And I say, well, Senators, there's one thing we should get done this session is the priority of the Republican Party, the state of Texas. And thank you. And I have my favorite document in my hand. Second favorite. There's a Republican Party platform. I don't know if y'all know this, the Texas Republican Party, we have the largest political convention in the free world and the second largest in the world next to the Red Communist Chinese, and they kill you if you don't go over there. And it clearly spells out our legislative priorities. And number one on the list was constitutional carry, permitless carry. And I tell the senators, this isn't about hunting. This isn't about, shooting a burglar. This isn't our Constitution. Specifically, it's a backstop against tyranny. This is to make sure that tyrannical governments don't overrun us like they do around the world, in the Sudan, like the previous speaker was talking about, or like they do in Colombia, or like they did in Africa. It's the Second Amendment that protects us from that. And that's it. Thank you. And I said, so let's get this permitless carry job done. It'll restore the liberties that have been stolen from us. This is our natural right. This isn't a government right. This is our natural right that comes from God. And I explained, I went off on that. I said, look, I get it if you don't want to vote for it. That's not the point. The point is, I say to them, let's get it to the floor so everybody can see where you stand on this issue. In other words, you can be accountable to all the voters that put us here, the Republicans. And then I said that, and you know what I heard after that? Silence. Complete silence. And then this fork hit a plate. And it sounded like a church bell. It was so loud, and gradually, 1, 2, 3, 4 more senators. They got up from the table, and they left the meal. Well, it was awkward for me the rest of the night. And the next morning, a messenger comes to my office. He says, hey, Senator Huffines, he said, you need to apologize for what you said to the Republican Senate caucus meeting last night. I said, really? What did I say? He said, you specifically said you're going to hold fellow Republican senators accountable to the voters. And I said, yes, I did, and I'm damn sure not apologizing. I'm telling you these stories because you've got to understand that most of your Republican leadership, they don't like us. I was cussed at and screamed at on that floor of the Texas Senate more than I have ever been in my adult life. Only because I wanted to hold them accountable. They worked so hard not to take the vote. So you say, well, who's the most conservative guy in the Senate? I was always one of them, or the most. But That's only counted on the votes you get to take. That's not the point. The point is they don't want to take any hard votes. Who's fighting to make them take the vote? Me and a couple others. That's it. Where's the courage in our country? Who is standing up in the U.S. Senate against leadership?
Nobody.
When we controlled everything in Austin, Texas, the Republicans, we control the House, the Senate, the governorship for 20 years. 20 years. We could eliminate abortion 10 years ago. We never get our priorities done. These are them right here. We don't get these done. Do you know why we don't get these done? It's because the governor doesn't want these to be law. If the governor of Texas, the leader of the Republican Party, the leader of the state of Texas, wanted our priorities, your priorities, if you're from Texas and you're a Republican, these are your priorities. These are not my priorities. This is put together by tens of thousands of Republicans. He doesn't want this to be law because he doesn't believe in it. If he believed in it, it would be law. We have 300 planks in there, 10 main legislative priorities. He doesn't want that to be law. It's all a scam. It's all a hustle. Do you know how many votes, how many bills came to the floor of the Texas Senate in the 2 sessions I was there that did not pass? 0. Every bill's got to pass. We know where all the votes are done. They're all counted in the back room. We know where they're going. What's going to happen? Everything you see on the floor is a hustle. It's all for show. It's the same way it happens in D.C. as all this. You're going to get up and make a debate. They all know where the votes are. They wouldn't bring it up. We're all in this huge hustle by a bunch of career politicians that are only interested in their careers and furthering their career. Let me ask you something. What was the catalyst to make me want to run and save Texas? Happened in March of 20. As you know what happened. They shut us down. Our Republican Governor Abbott destroyed 3 million jobs in one day. In one day. He put 3 million Texans. I mean, you really think about that. 3 million people were now dependent on the government to survive because he listened to that lying piece of crap Fauci in New York. Come on. He did. I told him, I sent it to, I was doing my tweets. I put an op-ed into all the papers of Texas, begging him not to listen to that liar, begging him to open this back up. He didn't. He unilaterally decided which businesses were going to survive and which not. He's the one that picked the winners and the losers, and tens of thousands of Texas businesses disappeared. We destroyed more jobs than we created in the last 12 years, combined in the state of Texas. And patriots, what was the nail for me to make the decision? He closed our churches. He closed our churches on the holiest week of the year, Easter. He empowered that story that I'm telling you about when I opened up of my daughter going to church and being arrested in a sanctuary. He's the one that caused that. You couldn't properly bury the dead. You couldn't properly get married. You couldn't properly baptize anybody. You couldn't visit the sick. 9 months of a mask mandate. DeSantis took it off in 6 weeks, and then people thanking, oh, thank you, Greg Abbott, for taking the mask mandate off us. That's like thanking a thief for bringing some of your stolen liberty back and your stolen goods. He shredded our Constitution. Shredded it. Do you think the taxes going down? Do you have confidence that your votes are being counted properly? I could just keep going down the list. Just go all the way down. There's so many issues. I'm the only candidate running for governor that's been in the legislature. Abbott's never been there. He didn't know anything. He really doesn't know he didn't know where the bathroom is. I've got a comprehensive plan to secure that border. That's why this election is the most important election in the country in 22, the primary in the Republican Party of Texas for governor. And it could be one of the most, and will be one of the most important elections in the history of the United States of America. Because let me tell you something, patriots, the federal government's never going to secure that border. We had the trifecta under Trump. We had the House, the Senate, and a courageous president that was trying to secure the border, and the border wasn't secure. It's certainly better then than it is now, but it wasn't secure. The only hope we had to secure that border is of a courageous governor of Texas. And let me tell you what I'm going to do. I'm not only finished Trump's wall, I'm going to spend $3 billion doing it. I'm a business guy. I'm the first business guy that's going to sit in that chair since Bill Clements won that seat in 1978. I know a good trade. I look at things completely different than these career politicians. Of course, my opponent's been in politics for 30 years. He's never signed a paycheck in his life while he was sucking on the government. I was creating tens of thousands of jobs. And that's a good trade because let me tell you, we spend billions and billions of dollars in this state on illegal immigration that they ain't spending in Connecticut. Well, first thing we'll do is finish that wall. The next thing I'm going to use is this document right here. That's sworn allegiance to the United States Constitution. I'm using Article 1, Section 10, specifically written for this very occasion. And that is, if a state's invaded, the state's got the right to defend itself. Of course it does. Let me think about it. Who would have joined the Union if that wasn't in there? I mean, if South Carolina gets invaded by the French and the federal government doesn't care about it and never comes to defend it, of course South Carolina can go get the help from North Carolina and do whatever they need to do to repel their invasion. Right now, up to 2 million illegals are going to flood into the state of Texas unapprehended in a 12-month period. Every one of them smuggled in by the most dangerous criminal organizations on the earth. The Mexican cartels, which basically control the frontera of Mexico. They're the most violent, dangerous criminals you can imagine. The videos I've seen, I assure you don't want to see. Murder doesn't mean anything to them, rape, dismemberment. All that poison's pouring into Texas. Right now, Border Patrol saying they've caught illegals since the beginning of the year from 150 different countries of the world. This is a premeditated attack on Texas. There's no doubt about that. There's no arguing that. Every town in the United States now is a border town. They're shipping them all over the country. Biden administration has proposed amnesty for every illegal in this country in his reconciliation budget. It'll be voted on in 30 days. That's not 11 million people, folks. It's more like 35 million. That's a pathway to citizenship. They know they're going to take over Texas. And that's going to happen. I'm going to engage the entire Texas military, our National Guards, 20,000 of them. We're going to secure the river. Let me tell you, this is strategic. It's strategic for a reason. We're going to make 25 crossings over that river, all with state roads to every one of them. We pay for Texas taxpayers. I'm going to stop all commercial traffic, inbound commercial traffic from Mexico. Outbound can keep going. You got the proper papers, you can come in and out. But you're not bringing one shipment of anything in commercial traffic from Mexico into Texas. And that's specifically to make Texaco, Mexico. That's pretty cute. I should use that. That's specifically to make Mexico secure their side of the river. We got to put the economic pressure on them.
That's right.
They love making money. Of course they do. Who doesn't? We're going to make sure they don't make any money until they secure their side of the river. I love Mexico. I love Mexicans. It's my favorite country to travel in. I lived there a year, but we're going to make sure they're going to be a good neighbor. exit across the river, and we're taking them right back and cutting across, because let me tell you, we don't just have the authority to enforce immigration law, we got the authority to ignore immigration law, and the most important part of my plan on this part of my platform is I will never, ever ask permission from the federal government to secure the Texas border. It's not necessary. I'm not worried about the litigation. I'm worried about Texas. I've got great plans on all the other things to phase out property tax over time. Most people, if you're not from Texas, we have, if not the highest, almost the highest property tax in the world, in the nation. And my team tells me, they say, hey, Alphonse, every state's got property tax. Yeah, I get it. And then we look up and they say, you know, we think almost every country in the world's got property tax. Yes! Finally, Texas is going to be the leader in something. We're going to get our swagger back in the state of Texas. Whereas we're going to eliminate it and phase it out over 10 years, and you're going to get a chance to vote on it. Because this isn't always about the money, although it's huge and massive. There's a lot you can be doing of all your money. This is about your economic liberty. You don't even own your own property in this country. You don't own your own property in the state of Texas. All you're doing is renting it from the government, and the rent just keeps going up and up. You never own it. Right. You never own your own home. You never own your own farm, your own ranch. We can talk about property rights all we want, which is great. That's the foundation of America. But what's the point if you don't even own it? So we're going to fix that. We're going to move that tax over to the sales tax and some other things, and you're going to vote on it. Well, Patriots, I'll tell you this. We are running out of time.
That's right.
We really are. But I have confidence when I talk to groups like this. This is our time. It is. There is no cavalry coming over the hill to restore the liberties that have been stolen from us. In 18 months, we've lost more at this rate. Where do you think we're going to be in another 2 or 3 years? Liberty lost is never liberty regained. It isn't. This is a clear case of good versus evil. It's the Democrats who are trying to replace God with government. Let me tell you, I just get so panicked thinking about this. Evil is out of its trenches. They are coming out of hiding, and they are attacking us full force right in the face. The tyranny is here. Whether it's the vaccine tyranny, the mask tyranny, destroying your businesses, shredding our Constitution, that's what our governor does every day. He's a political windsock. He just blows in the wind, empowering the Democrats, because that's who they talked about more down there than anybody else at our caucus meetings. Oh, what do the Democrats want? What do the Democrats think? That's who they care about. We're running out of time on this. We really are. Well, I know that you know that, but I need to fire you up. Because our time is now. There is no, like I said, there's really no one coming to our rescue. We've called 911. And guess who picked up? You. You're the ones that have picked up. You're the ones that are going to have to do something about it. And it's always that way in the history of the human race. It's always the few. I need you to pull out your rusted swords of liberty and help me cut the chains of government. Help me free up people to experience the joys and the prosperity that is possible when we embrace the free market, when we embrace liberty that was what it was designed to be in our country. When we embrace the power of the individuals, when we embrace the power of our Lord, let me tell you, our greatest days are coming. God bless you, and God bless the United States, and God bless Texas. Thank you very much for liberty, prosperity, and virtue.
Okay, I'm sorry about the video being a little blurry. There's bright in this room, but it was away from the grandbaby and all that. So that way it could be a little quieter where you guys can hear the whole thing. I'm sure there was some background sounds, but hopefully you guys got majority of the deal. And again, this is for Texas. And if I was a voting guy, this would be the guy I'm voting for. However, I don't know if it works. Right? So I hear both sides of the story. But I'm under the impression with everything that's going on that we're in martial law anyway. So, what doesn't matter? But if I'm wrong, maybe I should vote for him. I don't know. Y'all decide. Diesel We the People News. Till next time. Bye, y'all.